is the Fade 5 Podcast with Brad Evans and Nate Lundy.
Place your bets, you jackwagons. Rather big noise, Evans here, joined by the good son, Nathaniel Lundy, for another Tuesday edition of the Fade 5. Let's not waste a second of time on the clock, because we already got tickets in hand, and we're jumping aboard the Honk Honk Plus Bus. Plus 100 odds or greater is the name of thy game, Lundy. So give me a bet.
Let's have some fun, Brad. Let's I'm not just getting crazy with the cheese whiz. I'm on the silly sauce. I'm having a Tuesday morning Bloody Mary that you can see through, if you know what I mean.
Ooh.
We're having one of those. I can't resist.
Wow.
I absolutely can't resist. Folks, and believe me, I am putting a small, and I mean small, bet on this, but hear me out as to why for a second. Russell Westbrook for a triple-double, the payday at DraftKings plus 1,700. Here's the reason why I'm doing it. November 8th, 2019. Brad, do you remember it at all? Do you remember that date?
Yeah, I was blacked out on the floor in a comatose state.
Okay. The reason that date is of significance is because that is the last time that Joel Embiid played in Denver.
Wow. Okay.
That is how, so Denver fans love to throw shade at him and at Philly fans because they basically say he's scared to play at altitude and he's scared to play against Jokic. I don't believe that to be the case. I actually happen to like Joel Embiid, even though Nuggets fans are not a big fan. However, you look at what Russell Westbrook is doing, and he's starting to warm up. And in fact, for all of the faults of this Denver Nuggets team, the pickup of Russell Westbrook in the offseason is actually doing everything it was supposed to do to help this team. The problem is they don't have anything else on their bench, and so Russ is having to carry the weight. But if you go back and look, you'll notice that over the course of the last 4 weeks or so, 3 weeks or so, he's tossed in a couple of triple doubles, including a game where he did it and Jokic did it in the exact same game. One of the things that we are seeing is when we get these blowouts, it's Jokic that goes to the bench, and you know who stays on the court? Russ. Westbrook continues to play all the way through the fourth quarter, even if a guy like Jokic or Aaron Gordon takes a seat, which means there's more opportunities for the boards and there's more opportunities for the assists for him. I think this is a long shot, and that's the reason why it sits at plus 1,700. But in a game that has a 13.5-point spread in favor of Denver, I just don't think Jokic plays the entire time. I think Russ does. I think he's going to clock at least 35 or more minutes in this game, and minutes equal opportunities. And so guess what? I'm going to, like I said, it's a small bet, folks, but I'm going to throw it out there because this is the type of game that Russ will go and add to his career triple-double total.
All right, go bananas. 1,700. Yeah, certainly rolling the shoulders. I think the shoulders.
That's not getting off. You're not rolling the shoulders at that one. You're rolling down a hill like a kid in the grass, man.
Yeah, like an entire cheese wheel in certain activities that are conducted every year in Europe for some reason. Anyway, on Wisconsin, my money line play at plus money of the day is plus 125. They are at BetMGM. They are in UCLA. Take it on the Bruins, and I think I got a more than a puncher's chance to win this game straight up. I know UCLA just absolutely clobbered the Iowa Hawkeyes, and Mick Cronin has had some surly words, you could say. He's been kind of a bitter Betsy with his team and all the travel they've had, and obviously all the upheaval that's been going on. Frankly, with day-to-day life in Los Angeles. And again, we're thinking everybody there as they're continuing to deal with those wildfires. But I like the Badgers to win this one straight up. You look at Wisconsin, a team that's number 15 in Bart Torvik over the last 5 games. So in the month of January, number 105 in tempo, which is very un-Wisconsin-like in the Great Guard era. Again, they will play variable tempos this season. They are number 7 this month in EFG offense, 86 in EFG defense. Not the greatest team on the glass, but that offense, when it's clicking, they can really pile up the points. I mean, they're shooting 63.5% from 2 this month and 40.5% from way downtown. So certainly tickling the twine early and often. And you look at UCLA in the month of January. Yeah, they had a huge win against the Hawkeyes, but they are outside the top 50 in Bart Torvik during that stretch. Number 198 EFG offense and 332 in EFG defense. They're giving up 56.2% from two, 37.9% from three. So unless UCLA is really feasting on the turnovers, that's kind of their calling card, is forcing a lot of mistakes. I think the Badgers go to Parlay and knock off the Bruins, and the misery just continues to pile up for Mick Cronin. So give me Wisconsin on the money line, plus 125 there at BetMGM. With those bets on the board, let's get after it on this Tuesday edition with another Fade 5.
Number 5.
Numero cinco, mi amigos, on the countdown. I'm going to lay the chalk with the Oregon Ducks. They're going to be flopping their wings and flying high in a game of duck hunt. Washington's going to be shooting blanks in this one. I'm going to lay the 12.5 at a minus 110 there at BetMGM. Oregon, they fought on hard times and Big Ten play, but hey, it's a familiar foe from the old Pac-12 days, and one they could certainly bludgeon early and often. The Ducks, here the last 5 games, only 109 EFG offense and 259 in EFG defense. Their 3-point percentage defense in particular has been dreadful at number 351 in the country, but here's the good news. Washington can't score. They have Great Osborne, a guy that collected a $2 million NIL paycheck coming over from Utah State. He can be a force inside, but often is stiff defensively. And the 3-point marksmanship has certainly been off the mark, you could say, here on the season. Last 5 games in particular, the Huskies, they've been caged. Number 285 in AFGD, 225 in AFG offense. They're only shooting 33% from way downtown, and they're giving up 60.5% from inside the arc. Their turnover offense, they're, shoot themselves in the foot repeatedly. So you look at the 2-point percentage defense, 357 in the country here in the month of January. The fact they can't score and they're forcing their own mistakes. Like, I don't know how Oregon does not boat race the Huskies. So I'm going to lay the 12.5 at home there in Eugene. Minus 110 at BetMGM. Lundy usually say F the Ducks, but in this instance, you're going to follow.
Yeah, I kind of have to. I kind of have to in this one, but then again, Oregon State beat Gonzaga, so I mean, anything's possible at this point. Up is down, left is right, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria. So can I just pass? You know how much I hate them. I don't know why you're doing this to me, Brad. You know how much I hate the Ducks.
I know, but you can love and embrace them for one night only, my friend. Make love to the Ducks.
No.
All right, let's move on. Let's just move on.
Yeah, I don't know. Why am I here?
Number 4.
Numero Quattro on the Fade 5. Hopefully I'm going to get a strong opinion one way or the other for Lundy on this one. And we're going to work a little same game parlay. And we're going to get creative with this. I don't give a damn who wins the game. I just want it to be close between North Carolina and Wake Forest. So I built this at Caesars, and it's one of the rare sports books you can actually do this. Took Carolina the alt line plus 6.5. And guess what? Took Wake Forest on the exact same alt line at plus 6.5. Even Steven plus 100 juice when he built that there at Caesars. And I think this is going to come down to a couple possessions in the end there in North Carolina between these two ACC foes. Why? Well, you look at North Carolina, the Tar Heels, number 34 in Bart Torvik here in the month of January, 155 in EFG offense, and shockingly number 16 in EFG defense, giving up just 48.2% for two, 27.6% from three. So they've been really ratcheting up the D at the expense of their offense. Wake Forest more balanced across the board, 39 overall on Bart Torvik, so nearly even Steven in terms of the overall efficiency numbers. But if you peel back the layers, the onion, they're even better. The Demon Deacons, number 41 EFG offense, 90 EFG defense over that 5-game span. Both are terrible on the glass, and both have some question marks in terms of their interior, more so defensively for Wake Forest. But the defense for North Carolina in the 2-point range is virtually non-existent. and Wake Forest is shooting 59% from inside the arc here in the month of January. Again, this game always is close, especially in Wake's house. I think Forbes' bunch is going to keep this one all the way to the bitter end, going to be decided on some free throws. So a couple of possessions, I think that's the inevitable outcome here. I don't think anybody's going to race away from anyone else, so whether on the Carolina side or the Wake side. So SGP, we're getting creative, a mad scientist in the lab, so to speak. Carolina plus 6.5, Wake Forest plus 6.5, plus 100 at Caesars. Lundy, do I hit the middle fade or follow?
Yeah, I think actually you do. I think you're right. I think this comes down to the final couple of possessions with these two squads. You're talking about conference battle. You're talking about two teams that don't like each other. So I think you put all of that together, and I would fully expect this thing. I think it'll be less than 5, as a matter of fact. Yep. So I think you got yourself a little bit of a cushion. I do think this is final possession. Watch out. Somebody's up just slightly. Get some free throws. Try not to get hooked.
Yeah, and hopefully not any garbage time buckets as well. Keep it close, boys. Keep it close.
Number 3.
Numero Trace here on the Fade 5 countdown. Ooh. We're going to drop the puck and make some bucks. That is not my area of expertise. I'm a bumbling moron when it comes to everything. Biscuits in the basket. I just like biscuits in my mouth, preferably the KFC version. A whole slab of butter all over it. It's so good.
I thought that was Lundy, a metaphor.
Yeah, well, maybe it is. Give me a tasty wager here, and I'm seeing a significant plus money again. Man, you are insane in the membrane.
Yeah, I'm kind of feeling that after this weekend. Let's talk some puck bucks here, and let's go to Nash Vegas, shall we? The Predators hosting the San Jose Sharks. San Jose, of course, last place in the Pacific Division. They have lost 3 in a row, and in fact, they've lost 7 out of their last 10. They've only got 6 wins on the road total, which means I obviously like the Preds here at home. But we're going to pay attention to Philip Forsberg, who is en fuego right now. 12 points over the course of his last 7 games. But here's the beauty of that. Over those last 7 games, 6 goals, 6 assists. So look, if you want to take him just to score or just to have an assist, feel free. But tell you what, I'm going to same game parlay this, which you can do over at DraftKings, and I'm going to say that he tallies 1 of each. He's coming off of a 2-goal performance, but at home, give me for him to have an assist, give me him to have a goal. I think he's going to tally both sides of the score sheet, and if he does that, as Brad said, this is a sexy payday at a plus 270. Now, goal alone is a plus 115. So if you want to take a step back, you say, hey, he tallied 2 in the last contest. You bring him forward. He keeps that momentum, especially against the Sharks, the last place team. Look, Nashville is not all that great this year. They have won a handful of games here in a row, which is nice. But at the same time, they are on the outside looking in, even for a wild card spot. Nashville could wind up being one of those teams that you see move somebody at the trade deadline. We know that hockey's trade deadline is one of the most active of any sport because these teams will go and rent players just to get them through the end of the season. Somebody's trying to make a playoff run, and Nashville might decide to move somebody to see if they can get some future value given how far down in the standings that they are. But if that's the case, these guys are playing hard because they want to be a part of that trade and get onto a contender. So I think Forsberg continues it. Like I said, if you want to take one or the other individually, go for it. You could do those, for example, at a full unit, and then take this one at a third, a half, a quarter unit, whatever, and pair those together. But I really like him to be able to fill the stat sheet tonight. So plus 270 at DK for the same game parlay. Give me Philip Forsberg for a goal. Philip Forsberg for an assist at plus 270 at DK.
All the plus money all the time. That is top of mind tonight for one Nathaniel Lundy. And hey, you want to see more of his puck buck picks? You want to check out some of my college basketball selections? Maybe looking ahead to the NFL and Championship Sunday. Go to thegamingjuice.com right now. It's absolutely free, you jackwagons. No, we don't charge you a single penny. You can ask me a question. Could be sports betting related, could be even fantasy related. If we're looking ahead already to next year and some of the keepers and the trades that you're already trying to concoct in your brain, you can get a hold of me on that site and check out Lundy's free spreadsheet picks. Always free, always transparent. I do the same thing as well. You can check those out, the bracket big board board. I'm already tinkering with it behind the scenes. Going to be making its debut likely sometime next week before I got to take a little vacacione there in Mexico. So I'm going to be rolling that out. You get it all at thegameandjuice.com. It's free. Click, converse, and cash. ... Maybe.
Number 2.
Numero dos here on the Fade at 5 countdown. Let's go back to the college hardwood, and I say, yeah! With SMU, I am going to saddle up those Mustangs. They're at home taking on Louisville Cardinals. I'm going to lay the un punto and a half. That's 1.5 points at a -110. They're at BetMGM. I think SMU can win this thing by 3 to 5 points. You're going to be sweating, so you want to have a towel handy because you're going to beat up there on the brow. Now, look at all the advanced metric sites that are out there. They're all over the map on where this game is being forecasted. Ken Palm's actually got SMU as a 1-point dog. Bart Torvik's got SMU favored by 1.4 points. Haslametrics at 2 points. And Evan Mia has them as a 0.6 point dog. So it's a bit of a coin flip, but I think SMU is far and away the better team. Number 28 over the last 5 games, according to Bart Torvik. And I know Louisville's a little bit better there at number 17 in that category, but Louisville, a mediocre 109 an EFG offense, decent defensively at number 77, giving up 46.3% from 2, 32.3% from 3. But one of their biggest strengths for Louisville is getting after it on the offensive glass. And SMU is one of the better Power 5 rebounding teams out there. So they're going to limit, they're going to mitigate a lot of those second chance opportunities. On top of that, you look at Louisville's 3-point percentage defense, number 140 in college basketball in the month of January. And SMU, well, they're netting 37.2% from way downtown here in this month. So I know it's downright frigid in Texas. There's like blizzard warnings in Houston. They had to postpone the basketball game there. It's absolutely bananas what's going on right now along the Gulf. But I think SMU at home, they're going to heat up in the box score and score the victory. And more importantly, score the cover. I'm laying the 1.5 against the visiting Louisville Cardinals. Lundy at a -110 juice here at BetMGM. Fade or follow.
I don't know anything about either of these teams. So let's talk about blizzards. I'm kidding. No, actually, I look, I'll roll with you, but you said it. You look at all the different advanced analytics sites that you like, and they're all looking at this thing as a push. Should I just bet on it to go to overtime?
Yeah, you probably get another like plus 20,000 or something ridiculous.
I'm in one of those moods. I'm just saying. You never know what's going to happen. It's a weird Tuesday.
Lundy, do yourself a favor. Go buy some lottery tickets.
Number 1.
Numero uno, the Tuesday edition of the Fade 5 Countdown. I wrote about this on thegameandjuice.com. My top play of the day, Roll Tide. Give me Alabama. I'm going to lay the 11.5 at home, taking on the Vanderbilt Commodores. Have been surprisingly good this year. That may seem like a hefty number, but it's a little bit lighter juice at a -108. They're at DraftKings, and I am willing to lay it. Why? Alabama is in the conversation to win a national title this year. They have played murderer's row of teams this season. They're top 5 on the year in terms of overall strength of schedule. And over the last 5 weeks, they're number 13 at Bart Torvik during that span. Team that's number 80 EFG offense and, coincidentally, number 80 in EFG defense. That might not seem like it's mind-blowing production, but you see what they do. Their formula is very simple. It's all about speed. It's all about D. It's all about threes. And finally, it's all about second chance opportunities. They're like that zombie horde, like how I like to describe the Houston Cougars. They just keep crashing the glass, coming after you. And I don't think Vanderbilt's going to really submit some headshots in this one. I know they're playing good ball. A decent number 51 of Bart Torvik over the last 5 games, but they're only number 283 in EFG offense during that span, and it gets worse. 311 in the country in EFGD in the month of January, giving up 51.9% from 2, and most importantly, 40% flat from 3. You're facing a team that jacks at 3 around half of their shots. Even if they hit like at a 30-35% clip, Alabama is going to wax that ass. So I think they're going to sprint away. They could win this thing by, honestly, 20 or more. And I know it's going to be a black eye there on the resume, but Vanderbilt, take and accept the punishment, especially if you're not getting out there and challenging shots along the perimeter. And if you're not boxing out, it's going to get even worse. So roll tide, baby. I'm going to go with Nate Oates' crew. Lay the 11.5 against the Vandy, not so dandy Commodores. -1 away to DraftKings. My number one play on this Tuesday, Lundy. Better follow.
Vandy, fun during football season. They were. Let's be honest. They were a ton of fun during the SEC season because they kept surprising folks. Not so much on the basketball court. Bama's a really good team. They're very well coached. There's a lot of talent there. Put it all together. I'll lay the 11.5 with you. Might like it a little bit better on it, just in case some stupid backdoor cover. Take an alt line, pair it up with something else that I like on an alt line. So, for example, take Bama. Take them down to I don't know, Brad. Call it 6.5. Then take your SMU pick and put them like +3.5.
Yeah, okay.
Something like that. If you want to, if you guys want to get yourself a little bit of a cushion, that's how I would do it personally. But I do like Bama. I do think Bama can absolutely sweep the floor with them. But just in case starters are on the bench, they're joking, right? Like elbowing each other, like, hey, check out the hot chick in the third row, whatever it is. Just in case Vandy gives you that ugly backdoor cover, you could give yourself a little bit of a cushion. Like I said, give yourself an alt line, pair it up with something else you like on an alt line.
All right, excellent call. Reduce the juice so you can get seduced by the juice. Excellent call there, Lundy. And guess what? You have more excellent calls because it's bonus time. Bonus time. Whether it's in college basketball, the NHL, the NBA, or looking ahead to Championship Sunday in the NFL. Whatever pick is your pleasure, serve me up.
Well, first of all, in the championship weekend, I will do it. I said I was going to do it. I said it from the very beginning. I will take Buffalo straight up on the money line on the road against Kansas City. Brad was all about the Ravens. I told you all last week to take Buffalo, that I felt this was Josh Allen's time. I know they're dealing with injuries in the secondary. That's the thing we got to keep an eye on this entire week. I do want to see what the status is of those guys. Last time I checked, it was Buffalo +2.
1.5 I saw
at
BetMGM. I actually took them on the money line +105. It might be up to like +110 right now.
I got them at +110 yesterday afternoon. I did. I took them at +110. I was bored. I was sitting on the couch. I was like, I miss sports. Anyway, oh God, the list of crap my wife had me doing yesterday afternoon around the house. F that. That's not how you're supposed to spend a 3-day weekend, y'all. And I can say that because she never listens to the pod. Anyway, so when you talk about championship weekend, I'm all about Buffalo. But what did I tell you? You were stupid enough to give me Travis Kelce at +150 for a touchdown. That was so dumb. So dumb. It was really the only cash. I'm kidding. I took Buffalo the money line as well. I made some money this weekend, but my favorite, it was the carries. What did I tell you? It was rush attempts for Jaden Daniels. It was Travis Kelce, and it was Buffalo on the money line. Those were my 3 favorite bets. Going into this weekend, I'm going to stick with Buffalo because I'm assuming it'll be a different officiating crew in Kansas City, maybe.
Hopefully.
Jiminy Christmas. When even Troy Aikman is telling you you're full of shit, that's about all you need to know, folks.
Yep.
Let me get back to the ice for you. I don't normally with our gifts, our goal in the first 10, you know that I normally pair 2 of them together because that's how you get yourself into plus territory. So I have that for you, but let me start here. Detroit is in Philadelphia. The Red Wings and the Flyers have each had a gift 10 straight games. 10 in a row.
Wow.
It has happened to both of these guys. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and keep going until it bucks me. You're going to pay -154 on the juice if you want to bet that one by yourself. But 10 in a row between both of those guys. So if you don't like the juice, I'll tell you what, pair it together with a Tampa and Montreal. Tampa does it quite a bit, right around 2/3 of the time. Montreal about 60% of the time, little bit higher than that for Montreal when they are at home. And so I will say it happens between the Lightning and the Canadiens as well. If you go with the 2-legger, again, Detroit and Philly, Tampa and Montreal, you're going to get that at a +168. I mean, 10 in a row. It's just nuts. Anyway, you don't normally see that with the gifts. I've seen, 8 out of 10. I've seen 9 out of 10, but to see 10 in a row is pretty ridiculous. So I'm going to bet that one by itself, even though I'm giving up a lot of juice. But I'm also going to do it as a two-legger. Like I said, pair it together with Montreal and Tampa. The other game, by the way, hold on. The other game that I like for a gift, if you're looking for a third leg, Ottawa and the Rangers. New York tops in the league when it comes to goals in the first 10. 71% of the time it happens to them. They're at home. They're taking on the Senators. So if you want to build yourself a three-legger of the early games tonight, you can add that one in as well. As the basketball season heats up and the football season shrinks, sort of like some of you in the cold weather, Brad gets all excited because it's his time of the year for hoops. I yield the floor to the fine gentleman from Illinois.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's get a hoops parlay play on the board immediately. The Team Huevos parlay play here on this Tuesday, a three-leg money line, which means all these teams got to do is win straight up. Leg numero uno, give me the Texas Longhorns. That game is on schedule there in Austin, despite a little dusting of snow in that part of the country. Give me Purdue straight up on the money line, and give me the Iowa Hawkeyes also on the money line. I'll reserve the juice. Let me give the reasons why. Texas at home taking on Missouri, nationally ranked team. And if you look at the advanced analytics, it's really unsightly for Longhorns right now. It is not an all right moment there, McConaughey. Yeah, they're number 37 in Bar Torvik over the last 5 games, but over that stretch, 285 EFG offense, 267 EFG defense. However, the strength of Texas is splashing shots from distance. Johnson, Kaluma, and Pope, those guys can absolutely light it from outside and should have a monumental amount of success in that capacity. Why? Missouri, over their last 5 games, giving up a 41.1% mark from way downtown. That's number 374 and 3-point percentage D during that stretch. So I think the great equalizers will propel Texas to the victory. So give me them on the money line at home in Austin. Purdue, meanwhile, taking on the Ohio State. How about a national title hangover for the Buckeyes going against the Boilermakers, and Purdue number 2 in Bar Torvik in the month of January, 30 EFG offense, 75 EFG defense. Ohio State only 66 in Torvik this month at 269 EFG offense, 126 in EFG defense. The Buckeyes are in a whole heap of trouble. And I think inside Mackey Arena, one of the best venues, if not the best venue in college basketball. Yeah, I said it, Cameron Crazies. I think Purdue gets the victory at home with ease against the Buckeyes. And then meanwhile, Iowa, and Lundy shaking his head, he's going to have something to say.
No, it's because you don't disparage Allen Fieldhouse like that.
Well, I understand you got to cater to the missus because apparently she doesn't listen to this podcast, but you still got to do it anyway.
Yeah, I got to do it anyway.
Chivalry isn't dead. But come on, man.
Jay Billis and I are on the same page. He and I right here, simpatico. Allen Fieldhouse is insane. I've never experienced anything in my life in any sport like Allen Fieldhouse.
All right. Well, I think Mackey's going to give it a run for its money.
Carry on.
Iowa money line. Yes, early 99 in Torvik here in the month of January, but number 12 in EFG offense. They're going to dictate pace against the Minnesota Golden Gophers, who are number 312 over the last 5 games and 3-point percentage defense. That's a calling card of Iowa. Minnesota giving 39.1%. Meanwhile, Iowa's month, they're only netting 43.5%. along the perimeter. So to recap, the Team Huevos parlay play 3-leg money line. Texas, Purdue, Iowa plus 157 there at BetMGM. Elsewhere, boot is time. Lundy, I'm not going to give any reasoning. Pure gut call here because all the advanced analytics, they do the exact opposite. But I'm going to take the Bearcats. I like betting on desperate teams. They're at home. They're taking on Texas Tech, who is now, I believe, nationally ranked. I'm going to take Cincinnati plus the 2.5, and I'm going to leave it there because I have no other reasoning to back it up. Otherwise, other than the gut telling me.
TYG, baby.
TYG, that's it. So I'm going to go with Cincinnati. And getting back to Iowa, I think they're going to score over 80. So I'm going to take the team total over 79.5. I know Minnesota plays at a much slower pace, but I was at home. They always play that spread, and they always speed you up under Fran McCaffrey, and they can just score at will, and they're going to have no problem at all, as Minnesota's number 257 effective field goal percentage defense in the month of January. So I think Iowa hangs at least 8-0. So I'll take the over 79.5 on the team total at a minus 115 there at BetMGM. And one bet in the player props market looking ahead to Championship Sunday, Josh Allen. Anytime touchdown, the best price in the business I've seen is at BetMGM. It's plus 115. That is 15 cents better than pretty much everywhere else that I've seen so far. DraftKings plus 100, FanDuel plus 100. It's the postseason. All that guy does is run in the postseason. He had 2 touchdowns on the ground last week. Now 3 touchdowns in total in 7 career postseason games. He's averaging 8.3 attempts per game in the postseason, 52.7 rush yards per game as well in his career in the playoffs. And remember, he already faced Kansas City earlier this year back in mid-November. He went for 12 carries, 55 yards, and a touchdown in that one. In Kansas City in the regular season, they had the 5th highest pressure rate. That's great for opportunistic running from a quarterback of any team in the NFL. They allowed the 7th most quarterback rush yards as well, gave up 4 rushing touchdowns to the QB position. And over the last 5 weeks, just a middling or in May, number 19 in rush EPAD. So I think Josh Allen plows one in for 6 at a plus 115 juice.
If you want,
there you have it.
If you want the other early bet that I jumped in on, minus 105 for Mahomey to throw a pick. That's the other one that I've already jumped on. He's not had a great year, folks. Go look at the numbers. He's made some mistakes. So like I said, it all comes down to all those injuries that Buffalo's dealing with on the secondary. But I think you're gonna see those guys do everything they possibly can to get on the field. Minus 105 for Mahomes to throw a pick. That's the other player prop that I jumped on early.
And if you would think Kelsey's going to score another touchdown, it's again plus money.
Yeah,
plus 125.
Yeah, it is. I mean, they got smart and brought it down, but yeah, this is going to be a great game this weekend. But like I said, I just believe this is Josh Allen's turn to take a trip to New Orleans.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it go down this NFL Sunday championship weekend. The Super Bowl is going to be set in just a matter of days. All right, we got an exit stage left here on the Fade 5 podcast. Do us a favor, drop us a rating and a review at your convenience. Also, Fade or follow us on the X or the Twitter. Check out Lundy's content there in the spreadsheet at Nate Lundy. I do the same thing at Noisy Uevos. Go to thegamingjuice.com. They are Jackals and sign up for a free account. Until next time, as always, feed or follow. That is up to you. Godspeed, Louisiana. It's snowing. What the hell? The world is ending.